Okay, boys and girls, we're going to estimate, we're doing lesson 3.7, estimate decimals, sums, and differences. Remember, a sum is the answer to an addition problem. Differences is the answer to a subtraction problem. Alright, let's get started. I love estimating. I think we should do more of it. Here we go. How can you estimate decimals, sums, and differences? A singer is recording a CD. The length of the 3 songs is 3 and 4/10 minutes, 2 and 7/800 minutes, and 4 and 1900 minutes. About how much recording time will be on the CD? All right, the big thing for you to look at first is what is it asking you about. So it doesn't want you to really figure it. It wants you to get close. Here's the reminder. To round a number determines the place which you will round. If the digit is right, the digit to the right is less than 5, so 4, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the digit that is rounding stays the same. If the digit is to the right is 5 or greater, the digit in the rounding place increases by 1. Raise the score. Alright, so let's look at this. We're going to round to the nearest whole number, so I'm underlining all the whole numbers so I know which one I want to go to. The 4 tells the 3 to stay the same, so it's a 3. The 7 tells the 2 to raise the score, so it becomes a 3. The 1 tells the 4 to stay the same, so it's the same. I'm going to do some, I know that's 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 minutes. So I rounded it, it's about. Okay, now we're going to round it to the nearest whole dollar. So I'm going to underline both the whole dollars. That's the whole dollar. The rest is cents. So this time we're subtracting to find the difference. 27, the 9 tells the 27 to go up to 28, and the 7 tells the 11 to go up to the 12. Now we're subtracting, and I get 16. So it's about $16. So when it says round to the nearest $10, then subtract, now I just underline the $10 because that's the 10 place. Alright, the 7 tells the 2 to go up, so that's 30. The 1 tells the 1 to stay the same, so it's about 40. Oh, sorry, subtract, watch the symbol, $20. So you got to know where you're rounding to. Alright, in the video that you watched earlier, benchmarks. Benchmarks are familiar numbers used as a point of reference. You can use the benchmark 0, 25 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 75 hundredths, and 1 to estimate decimal sums and differences. Alright, please go back into your journal, and I want you to make a number line underneath benchmark, and I want you to put 50 hundredths, 0, 25 hundredths, 75 hundredths, and 1 whole. So that you remember that this is a benchmark, so when they ask for benchmark, that's what you're doing. So if we look at this benchmark here, if we're going to estimate 18 hundredths plus 43 hundredths, so we're going to locate those on there. 18 hundredths. It is between what? The 0 and the 25. But which is it closer to? It's closer to the 25 hundredths. So if I look at 43 hundredths, that is between the 25, and I would say the 43 hundredths is about right here. But it's closer to, it's between 25 hundredths and 50 hundredths, and it's closer to 50 hundredths. So if I'm using my estimates by benchmarking, 25 hundredths plus 50 hundredths is like counting quarters, and I have 75 hundredths, so it's about 75 hundredths. We can do the same thing on subtraction using benchmark. Locate and graph the point on the line of the decimal. Okay, so 76 hundredths is about right there, and I would say it's between 75 hundredths and 1 whole, but it's most closely to 75 hundredths. 22, that's about right there. 22 is between 0 and 25, but it is closer to 25 hundredths. So if I have 75 hundredths, take away 25 hundredths, I have 50 hundredths. So when I use my benchmark, I get closer, and I have numbers that are familiar to me. Alright, so up here we're going to be using rounding. So when we use rounding, we're going to go to the whole number. So this first one, this is when it says use rounding to estimate. Go to the whole number. The 3 tells the 2 to stay the same. The 9 tells the 1 to go up. The 2 tells the 5 to stay the same. Add them together. My answer is about 9. Alright, I would like you to finish these two, please. Round them quickly. Watch the symbols of what you're supposed to do. Then we'll go down to this benchmark one because we've got new directions. Benchmark means we're supposed to use that number line. So you don't need to draw the number line if you can remember these are your benchmark numbers. So 34 hundredths is closer to 25 hundredths. 1/10 is closer to 0. And 25 hundredths is right at 25 hundredths. If I look at this, I know it's 50 hundredths. So I want you to do benchmark this one. I would like you to do all of these because we're rounding to estimate. We're benchmarking these. Here I would like you to do 15 and 16. You have to use the compare symbols. So quick estimate and then compare them, please. Let's hold off on this one. Once again, we're doing evens, but read your directions. Rounding to estimate, benchmarking to estimate. On the back side, 1 or 2, and all of these. If you're not sure about benchmarking and that, please call me over. We need to get those down. Estimating is really important. Let's look at this page. If you get all done, give yourself a challenge, especially the top.